Alright guys, so let me start off with a bit about me. My name's Chris. I was born July 23rd, 1996. I'm 17. Favorite color is purple, light blue, and pink. My favorite shopping store is American Eagle. I wanted to be in the military about all my life. My favorite food is steak, and that's about all there really is to me. Um, Also, never really made a video before this, so work with me on it. And this is actually my second attempt of reading for 35 minutes. So, excuse any dullness. Pretty, tired of reading. So, anyhow, my story starts in Patterson, California. I was about 5 when I started being a angry kid, I suppose you could say. I would tell my father things like I wish he was dead and saying it out of anger, of course. I was a really destructive kid. I was going in and out of therapy and anger management, things like this for kids, though. And I've been on all types of medications. Through elementary school, never had the best grades and always had help from the teachers. Fourth grade, I met my current best friend, who I honestly love like a brother. And asked out my first crush in fourth grade as well through a note. And still remember the story that she liked a guy named Sebastian instead. I think at the end of fifth grade was when my father retired from the police department forcefully due to his injury in a fight with an inmate, and from there we moved to Texas. I was there for part of sixth grade, and I remember my sister hooked me up with her friend, and I don't know, I guess that was my first girlfriend technically, sixth grade. A little bit sad. I look at it now, and I really had no idea how to be a actual boyfriend in sixth grade, so. Yeah, that wasn't a good experience. Well, I guess it was, but there really wasn't much experience to it. We had a rescue dog named Bear. He's a 185-pound English Mastiff, and I loved that dog. And he was barking one day, and I was like 13 still, and I wasn't thinking. I got his face and told him no, and bit me. Took a chunk out of my lip, and I had to get some stitches. And I guess nothing major, but I don't know. My mom and him were playing, and she got bit too. They're playing though, so it wasn't on purpose, but we got to get rid of him after that. Um, After Texas, 8 months later or so, after Texas, I mean, 8 months later, we moved from back to California and lived with my grandparents for a bit, where we stayed just a little bit, and from there we moved to Georgia, where I spent the end of sixth grade, started seventh grade, and I met a friend I came to really know and enjoy knowing when I did know him. I eventually did lose contact with him. And other than that, nothing major in Georgia. At this point, we actually moved to Nevada, and that's where I spent the rest of my seventh grade. And I met a lot of new friends and left a lot of new friends through those moves, and it actually had a big impact on me. I went through tons of therapy and medication by that time, and it was the start of my social downfall, I suppose you could say. My entire time in Nevada, I never really left my room. Started playing Xbox mainly because the friends I met there I couldn't really move away from. I could always talk to them. I let my sister's friend go on a cruise to take my spot just so I could stay home. Like it was pretty isolation. It was really isolating for. I was isolating. I'm sorry, I didn't really know how to phrase that properly. Um, From there, we moved to Patterson again for the start of my eighth grade year, where all my friends were, so that was good. But a few months later, we moved to Lincoln. Um, Lincoln, I spent eighth grade, well, and so my freshman year. In eighth grade, I started messaging the girl I had a crush on in fourth grade. You know, she was, I guess, her family was close to our family, I suppose you could say. And she was the first girl I asked out. She always was on my mind since fifth grade. Really, always would come up somewhere. Somebody remind me of her. I don't know. She was always there in my head though, and so she was someone very important, special to me. I guess always stood away from everybody else. Like she stood out. She was something unique. So it was pretty strong feelings, I guess you could say. Um, Freshman year, met a girl who would come to be a huge downward step in my life. She wasn't the girl I should have been trying to date. And let's say for this video, she's had a lot of boyfriends in her life, and I'm sure you get what I'm saying by that. Um, I fell in love with this girl. I remember the first thing she ever told me was if I didn't have a boyfriend, I'd go out with you. And I guess that's a bad sign. My sister told me it was a bad sign, and I wish I kind of looked at it now. So maybe I wouldn't be in a situation I'm still in. I guess that was my first major drop, after anything with that. I cared about her, and I had this thought that I could change her and that I could make it better for her and help her, and just all these things I just wanted to help. Oh, excuse me, a little bit tired. I'll explain that at the end. She never dated me though, or really gave me a shot, and it was just phone calls and supporting her through anything and anything. I was there for her, and she knew I had feelings for her, and she told me she loved me, but never see the love in that one. So I look at it now, and it was a strong crush. I could not have loved that person. I mean, not how I thought I did. At least I cared about her. I didn't want to help. It got to the point where she told me I would need to grow my hair out and dye it blonde and some other things for her to even date me. And that's when I finally said no. Um, I actually started cutting, being suicidal, and I was crushed for whatever reason. I was very depressed, and I just cared about this girl, but it wasn't enough. I mean, I didn't really. I kind of lost the respect for women there. Not like lose respect for them. I just didn't trust them. I don't know. I've always had a problem trusting women since then, I suppose. Um, Started drinking, put vodka in water bottles, and just throw it right on my desk, and nobody would even realize it, and it just looked just like water. Never really wanted to stop drinking at that time. Times I could only have a little, and that's what I would take. I'd sneak up to the liquor cabinet, take a shot, go. I mean, I don't know. Um, so yeah, there was my first hospitalization in that time. After she got kind of everything was bad with her, I got caught with cuts on my arms, and I stayed for about 2 weeks. And that being watched 24/7, it's really not a comfortable situation. Um, Anyhow, one day in first period was cooking class, so bring your food, bring your drinks. It was fun. It was easy. I enjoyed it. And my senior buddy, don't really know if he was my buddy, but guy I talked to and found out what was in my bottles and dared me to drink it all quickly, just down it. So there's 2 bottles that day. Entire bottle of Red Zin put in a water bottle, and vodka, cranberry juice, and 7 Up. Uh, right away, the Red Zin was pretty much gone. Um, had some of the vodka before, and I drank a little bit after too, and I realized I was fucked up. I mean, excuse my language. I was drunk. Um, Excuse my language. Sorry, I've been around people too much. So I threw up at the end of class. As we were walking out, there was a trash can by the door, and I threw up and ran out. And I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. I was hoping it would get out of my system, but you can't act in drama. I wasn't a good actor anyway. So drama, I got noticed, and the stairs were like an actual theater, so they were going upward. And so as I did my thing and walked up, I didn't do my act yet. Actually, I didn't get to do my act. I just walked up the stairs at the beginning of class, and he noticed me. And I guess I fell. I mean, I don't remember what happened really. This is mostly a summary of what I've heard and what I slightly remember, but I do remember he told me he could smell it on me, and I don't remember how I got to the vice principal's office after that, but I was there. Um, she's more concerned about me throwing up on her carpet than anything, and as I was there in the office, I saw my ex, one of the exes I had, um, across the office, looking at me like, what the hell did he do this time? Like, it was pretty sad look. She gave me disappointment, kind of. I don't know. It was a mess, I guess. Um, Police officer came in to the breathalyzer. Sure enough, I was drunk. He searched my bag and found my knife. I don't know why he had a knife. He just always kept one on me. Um, so, felony to have the knife. Drinking was a misdemeanor. My parents were on a cruise, so that didn't help my situation. I got suspended. My sister had to come pick me up. I threw up multiple times on the highway home, which is pretty gross. And I remember laying down on the couch. I don't remember how. Ambulance got in. They put me on the stretcher. Or the people from the. I'm sorry, I can't think of what they're called right now. The paramedics. I don't know. The ambulance came. They paramedics put me on the stretcher or whatever, and rolled me to, brought me to the hospital. Don't really remember what really happened. I did take some pictures after I sobered up a couple hours later. They threw some IVs in me or whatever they do. And yeah, I don't remember if I had alcohol poisoning. I don't remember if my stomach got pumped. I don't really remember what happened. Don't remember the next days after it, actually, sadly. Um, yeah. First day back to school, parents were back. For whatever dumb reason, I brought a knife again. And somebody saw, got caught, put on the expulsion board. The vice principal already hated me, and she was in charge of the discipline, and I never showed up to any of her detention and was in her office every day. So, I mean, she had that opportunity. No matter what went down, I was expelled. Um, I didn't go back freshman year. Oh well, sorry, I skipped the entire part. During the expulsion hearing, I I saw my dad cry for the first time. Um, it's pretty sad. Something I felt was my fault. And, it's really hard for me. Guy I've always looked up to my entire life to tell me that, you know, just to cry because of something I did. So that was hard. And I didn't go back to school freshman year. The girl that I did have that crush on texted me things like, "What's up?" You know, of course she replied, "What's up?" And just say things like, "Getting a piece of gum, get the taste of dick out of my mouth." I remember that one exactly. It's the only one I can really remember word for word. It was pretty terrible. Hard to hear something like that, even for a girl I didn't really care for anymore, or I cared about, but didn't really, not how that way. But it was just giving head under the bleachers. Really, that's, come on. It was just sad. It hurt me. I guess I just cared about her, even if I didn't really want to be with her anymore. I did care about her. Continued cutting. Started stealing money for stupid things from my parents. They found out every time, of course. It was always bad. I remember I took a piece of my mom's jewelry one time, and I was gonna give it to whichever girlfriend I had at the time, and I don't know. Later, uh, whatever happened with that relationship, I'm not sure. Later in, maybe a couple months later, I started talking to that crush I had again. Fourth grade. Yeah. So after a while, talking again. I don't know what I did. I don't remember it very well. Guess I pushed it. I don't know. I think I told her I loved her. um, so she actually just stopped replying. So yeah. And from there, we moved to Huntington Beach, which I didn't want to be. So I moved in with my grandparents. Patterson. I stole about $600 from them for something stupid. I was ditching and failing school, and they sent me back. Really ruined my relationship with them temporarily. Um, I say temporarily because, like all my other ones, have been fixed, so that's good. I was. It was a few months before I talked to them again and fixed everything up. Eventually, like I said, went back home, stole money in increments of hundreds, many times from my parents for stupid things. Um, got hospitalized 5 more times in this entire time period of suicidal ideation, depression, cutting, self harm, whatever you want to call it. Uh, Dad wasn't proud of me anymore. I did realize that, and he didn't trust me on top of it. And even on top of that, I really didn't think he could say he loved me. Even though I know he did. I just don't think he could get it out because of how much hurt it caused him. It was hard to see something like that. Like I said, this guy's been my life. Everything in my life I've based around him. My future, what I want to be, what I want to do, it's always been around him. So he was really the most important person in my life. I looked up to him, really did. And I didn't follow him the right way, I suppose. At least at the time. Um, One time, hospitalized, and I remember as I was leaving with an officer, I told him I'm sorry. And it was after I did something dumb. He said I just needed to start acting like I was sorry. And I told him, or no, I told him I'm sorry, and told him I loved him, and he told me I need to act like I love him because he doesn't see it. He doesn't see that I love him, and it was hard to hear that. I mean, I punched holes in walls, kicked down doors, broke things, and was in a program for school, and I sucked therapy sessions or whatever you want to call it. Um, a lot of my arguments were caused because of my phone. I didn't have much friends. I really still don't have much friends. I guess I'm still a little bit antisocial. Um, my trust for women always fails me in relationships. So only one person trust in that relationship hasn't come. We all know that. But yeah, so I just whenever I didn't have my phone, that was my contact method of anybody and everybody, friends, girlfriend. I never hung out with people. It was just my phone talking, texting, and calls. So when they would take my phone, that would be the only punishment they could do. But once that's gone, there's nothing else they could punish me with. There's nothing else that would affect me. I would have nothing else they could take. I wouldn't. I would sleep all day. I mean, really isolating, and it was bad. Um, my father, I hated him smoking. I always hated him smoking, and there was times he'd quit. I remember one time when I was Huntington Beach. I walked out and caught him smoking. I just talked to him about it, and he's like, you're not supposed to tell your kids that they're the reason you smoke, but I kind of knew he was. I did cause that. I did cause that stress on him, and it did relieve his stress, and even if it was temporary, it helped him. That stress was caused by me, so I felt like it caused him to smoke. It caused him stress, caused him any therapy things he had to go through. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I don't know what he did. But yeah. This time I was on probation for about a year because the knife twice was two felonies and the drinking was a misdemeanor. That actually got dropped down to about two misdemeanors, but it kept getting extended by probation for some reason. Always because of the situation I was in at the time. Sorry for yawning. I'm tired still. I guess I'll explain that later. On my last short-term hospitalizations, I held a knife to my neck and threatened to kill myself with my dad calming me down, and we recorded that to show somebody. And yeah, get to that later. Started dating a 19-year-old. We dated part of the time and of this next portion of my life, and she cheated on me twice with the same guy. Um, I really cared about her. I didn't want to be alone, and I was tired of being alone, so I gave her chances and chances. I forgave and I forgave, and a bit later, got out of school. My parents told me we were going to get food, tricked me, and I believe it was June 2012. Noticed my bags were in the back of the car on our way for food, and I knew it was, I knew where I was going. Freaking out, didn't want to go into much detail on all that, but we showed up at a treatment center. It was long-term treatment, 24/7 watches, all this stuff, and I was there for suicidal ideation, attempts, depression, self-harm, anger, family issues, therapy, school. It was just, I should have stayed there a lot longer for stuff I was there for. There's a leveling system. They made it quickly up, got more privileges. There's never really been anybody that didn't like me. I'm always a very respectful guy for the most part, and most people really, like me. So, you know, people at the school would be like, I don't see how you have these issues. Like, we don't see any side of him that's like that. And people there never saw it. For them, it was just the sadness that they would see, not the anger portion that I did have in the past. And yeah, I moved up. They loved me. Never tried running. I was so easygoing. Was just the easiest kid for them. And the staff loved me and helped me. And I look at it now, and I really appreciate everything everybody there did. And it really changed my life. Um, 3 months in, told my father everything I felt, everything that he was to me, everything I'm sorry for, how I want to change, how I did change, how I wanted to change, how I wanted things to be, and just all this stuff. And I can see how it really affected him. 6 months in, had my job and some credits I got from school. I was working on. Sorry again. I was working on doing some stuff for my permit, and at that point I was just 16. Telling my dad I had my job, just telling him about my day, how it went, and called him one day and told him all this. Like I said, and I told him about everything. At the end of the phone call, after telling him about work and stuff, and now I hate my boss. um, he told me he was proud of me after we said he loved each other. I didn't really catch it, how much it meant to me right away. So thanks, hung up and loved him. So yeah, I went to go tell staff because it was pretty big, even though I didn't see how big it was. I thought it was big, but not as big as it ended up being for me. Went to tell staff, and before I even got a word out, broke down in tears. I mean, I was bawling my eyes out. I mean, I was just so happy though. Wasn't sad. I was happy. I was just happy to have heard that. And, people were asking what's wrong after I told the staff, and nothing was wrong. I told them nothing was wrong. I was just happy. I don't think a lot of them got it, and you know, that was something I'll never ever forget in my life. I was only able to go home every other weekend, so 46 days a month and holidays, so I didn't really have much time with my family this past, that time that I was in there, that 9 month period of my life, pretty big. Um, September, the girl I was dating broke up with me in the middle of my treatment, which was hard. Um, I did manage though. At this time, or next month technically, so October, sent some flowers to my fourth grade crush for her birthday. Still always had her in the back of my mind all the time, always there. And so, I don't know, I just didn't want it to seem too noticeable that I crushed on her, so I made it seem more of like a birthday present rather than a hey, notice me type thing. Didn't make much out of it. So just a little bit of roses and a nice letter. There was a therapist at that tire place that really just made the biggest difference in my life, and thanks to him, everything I'm about to say was easier, I guess. So, yeah, thank you. If he sees this, he knows who it is. I'm not really doing names. In January, me and my father had a really good relationship at this time. We were really doing good. We were talking about when I was going to come home. Wednesday, January 16th, I called my dad to talk to him about my past that weekend. I was going to go home and do some stuff. And we talked about, and I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what it was all about. I mean, I remember asking about my past, but I don't really remember it. The next day, work with me through this if I break down into tears. I did the last time I was reading this when it messed up. So, hope it doesn't do it again. Or I hope I don't do it again. So, I just... Okay. So, the next day I called, and I couldn't get a hold of him. And it was... I didn't know what was going on. And so I couldn't get a pickup. At 6 p.m. that night, January 17, 2013, my mother called crying She wouldn't tell me what was wrong, but told me she needed to talk to a senior, which was the senior is the officer or the person in charge for the night. But yeah. So she told him she wouldn't tell me, and he wouldn't. She told him not to tell me as well. So I waited worrying, and the senior told me to pack my stuff as I was leaving a day early. At the time, the only thing that ran through my head was my sister, who was overseas in the army, and I was worried something had happened to her, and I was freaking out. And when my mom showed up 2 hours later, she walked in with Dave, who was my dad's friend, and I knew something was wrong. And she walked me outside and told me my dad, my father, had died. I was in tears. I remember going home crying the entire way, and I stayed at Dave's for the next few nights. And I remember when she told me that second, I told her she was lying. I told her I didn't believe her. I told her I just told her I didn't believe her. To tell me the truth. Why are you doing this to me? And stop lying. And it was just, I didn't want to believe this. I didn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And it seemed fake for months. Months after. I always felt like he'd walk in the door one day. After the viewing, I don't really want to get into that because it was hard to talk about. It's harder than most of the other stuff. So, we went to Patterson to meet family and friends who couldn't make it to it. And the girl I had a crush on most of my life since 4th grade found out was going to be there. And secretly, I was extremely happy and excited. And sister showed me a video of her on her drive there of her singing the national anthem, and it was really, really, really good. And it just, like always, this girl stood out to me yet again, something new, always something. And so the entire time, I realized I didn't really talk to her much while I was there, and I hadn't seen each other in a while. This girl I had feelings for since 4th grade. Don't think I said more than 3 words to her. Didn't really know what am I gonna say. I guess I was nervous. I was a wreck. I looked like I hadn't slept in days, and I hadn't slept in days, and it was just a mess. I didn't want it to be dumb. I didn't want it to be bad because this is a girl I had feelings for. So didn't really talk. I do regret it. No, I kind of regret it. I do regret it. That my family there, a lot of them didn't say anything. A lot of them kind of just, I feel like they went just because they felt they had to go. There's a lot of disrespect, actually. We wanted to leave early. It was pretty disappointing. It was hard. Um, I don't think I could forgive those people ever. And if I do, it won't be soon. I'm very upset about it still. Um, it was hard. So we did leave though eventually, and texted the girl that we all know about already, the crush, and said I'm sorry to talk, all this stuff, and it was, I don't know. We got back, went to the treatment center or I went to the treatment center again. It was just a break for my loss, so I had to go back eventually. The program wasn't finished. I didn't stop thinking about her though. I couldn't stop thinking about her. She kept my mind busy from being sad and from my dad most of the time, and a lot of downtime I had. I didn't want to think about him. I wanted something to smile for, something that always made me happy. And even though my past with her wasn't good, she made me happy. So thought about her. I didn't pursue anything though, and I was thinking I wouldn't pursue anything until I could actually see her often and try to know her more and just have a real relationship, someone that I wanted a real relationship with, and I didn't want it to be something that was long distance. So I figured I'd just wait and wait and wait and wait. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever do it now. Don't think I'll ever pursue my feelings for her. I mean, there's so many things I could wish I could tell her, how I see her, and just all these things powder that I see and feel, and I don't know, but um, anyhow, which may know, may not, but yeah, back to the main story. I got discharged in February, and from there I went back to school. Um, I didn't go a lot of the time. I really couldn't get myself out of bed, if I'm being honest. Not really once since I even went into the treatment have I ever thought of cutting, stealing, suicide, or anything along those lines out of consideration. And I think that's where I realized how much that change really did affect me, and that I did need it, and that I'm happy that I went. I really appreciate everybody that's ever helped me in my life. Um, I wish I could give back as much as you guys have given to me, but I don't know how at the moment. Since I got out, nothing really new has happened. Stopped going to school again. Uh, Mom got a new boyfriend, and he's a really sweet, loving guy. He's a great guy. I'm actually really happy that she met him. Um, I don't know where I want my life to go. I don't know where it will go. Actually, is more or less what I'm trying to say. Last night I went to where my life changed. I went back to the center just to see it and talk to some of the people that changed me, and I told them how much I appreciate it, and that the people there don't understand. A lot of people just want to get it out, but if I didn't go there, I wouldn't have fixed my relationship before my father died, and their place has changed my life completely. Um, it occurred to me last night, I don't remember my father's voice anymore, and all I have left of his voice is a video that we took when I had the knife to my neck, and him talking to me calmly, and I don't know if I could watch it. I don't know if it would help. Um, I've gone off all medication, and I'm able to control everything. I don't think I'm, I don't think I have ADD. I don't think I'm bipolar. I don't think, you know, all this stuff. I think it's just I was out of control. I was a bad kid. I think that's really what it comes down to. I don't know where my life's gonna go. I don't know what's gonna happen with my relationship life either. Um, I love life. I've been thinking about lately becoming a psychologist or therapist for kids and teens when I'm older. Not now, later in life. But like anything else, my plans are just unsure. Still haven't told the girl how I feel. Don't know if she knows. Don't know if she ever will. Don't know if I ever will tell her. I haven't been to school in a while. Uh, I don't know what my future is going to be again. And that's really where I'm at right now. It's my life from July 23rd, 1996 to December 5th, 2013. Last night I dropped my gas money on my way to the center, so I kind of was in my car for a few hours, drove back, and I actually got my first freeway race against some car. I went about 120, 130 at like 12:30 in the morning. I won. I think that's something to look forward to. But yeah, so I'm a little bit tired, so excuse any you know, excuse my tiredness and anything else that causes it or that it'll cause. So yeah, that's my life. This is more or less for memories to show how this place has changed my life. So my father knows whether he's watching me or not. I don't know how the world works after, but I love my dad. I'm very appreciative that this place changed my life, and I want to do good in my life. And I'm going to. So yeah. All right.